Turf Business TV are here at the City Football Academy, the training facility for Manchester City. We're going to be taking a look at the decision-making process and the installation of a new Hero hybrid carpet system here on one of the training pitches. I'm joined by head of the grounds team here, Roy Rigby, grounds manager. Roy, pleasure to see you again. There's always a lot going on here, and we're standing on a new installation that's been a little while in the planning, but decision was made quite late in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, Martin. Was made about 3 weeks ago, putting the new hybrid Hero carpet system in over on the City Football Academy side. It's a thing we've been looked at for the last 12 months, and I'm really glad we've gone with it now after a lot of research work gone on, and we've gone for the plunge. We're the first Premier League club to have a full-size hybrid Hero system installed.
So 12 months in the planning, what was involved in your research before you got anybody else involved, Roy?
My research in this was, to try and look at something better than what we've got now. The board of directors, the hierarchy at the club, wanted more playing hours on the pitches, and they wanted me to scope the globe to see what was out on the market. And I looked at different hybrid pitches, and I must admit the Hero carpet system, it just took me fancy. I know a few people abroad, out in Real Madrid, and I've had a bit of advice off him, which has been very helpful. He's had it and he said it's worked really well. The key for me is that it renovates well, and that's the key to it all. We're going to get value for money, and we're going to get the playing hours, which we didn't have before.
And the issue you had with this particular pitch was, some surface levels. There was some issues with that because of the site it's built on is an old kind of industrial area, and you had some subsidence, didn't you? Yeah,
we had some subsidence on it, where the middle of the pitch, it moved up by about 4 or 5 inches. Doesn't seem a lot, over I would say 72 metres by 25 metres, and it just, right. The crown of the pitch just moved up, so it gave us big problems, and the ball roll and everything about the pitch wasn't right, so there wasn't a real lot we could do with that. I've had a lot of survey works done that over the last 18 months, and now it's settled now, so I thought, right, what can we do with this pitch to make it better? And it's one of our main pitches for the academy because it's got the undersoil heating in, which gets a lot of traffic in the winter months because we haven't got undersoil heating all over the training ground. So I thought, right, I think, what do we do with this now? And this is why I went down the line of getting a Hero carpet system in and getting this pitch graded off and get it back to the regional spec when it was first built in 2014.
Okay, we'll get a little bit more into the detail of the consultancy process you went through with Charles Henderson, and then what Premier and County have been doing in terms of the installation. But let's just get to the main reason you chose the Hero surface, or one of the main reasons, was the stability it's going to offer you, isn't it?
Yes, I think what it was, we had the Consultancy before, which did a fantastic job for us, but what I want it being stable when we lose a lot of grass cover in the winter months, because a lot of traffic goes on here. I think you get some pitches that are recommended 28 hours on a regional pitch. This pitch will give me 70, 80 hours, playing hours, even in the winter months. And the main thing is when we lose grass cover, it will still stay stable, and the appearance and the presentation will still look right.
And in terms of the longevity of the pitch, what are you hoping for out of it?
I mean, they're saying to me, or the Hero hybrid pitch, the warranty on it is 5 years. I would say we'll definitely get 5, I reckon 7, 8 years out of it. And the reason why we'll get 8 years out of it, because it will be well maintained, well looked after, and it will get renovated every season.
We're now going to look at the consultancy side of this project, and we're going to be talking to Charles from PSD Labosport. Charles, you were the consultant on this project, but you do other work for Man City anyway. You're retained, aren't you?
Yeah, we've dealt with Man City for a very long period of time, probably plus 10, 15 years before all this existed. But we worked in combination with Mallinsons and Man City during the original build of CFA. We've also managed the constructions and ongoing maintenance with Lee at Etihad, so we've been involved here for a very long time, before my time with Mike Harbridge and Gary Owen, and we've continued that relationship as the club's obviously pushed on and reached new levels itself.
Charles, so this project, Roy's been telling us it was a major major piece of work for him. It took him 12 months really in terms of research. At what point did you get involved with him?
We've been involved right from the very start in terms of input, and it was important to us that they made their own decision. The requirements for this pitch are quite unique in the sense that it's not about uniformity for the first team, in the sense that there wasn't any restrictions with that. It was purely about driving more usable hours and better quality throughout the period of the year, which is what the club need, because they have an exceptionally high demand for use.
And it's an academy pitch, but the standard is no less in terms of what you're delivering compared to any other pitch in this facility, is it?
I would arguably say of all the Premier League clients we have, which are a lot, Man City amongst others drive exceptionally high standards throughout the age group. So the desire to achieve the standard of turf cover throughout the year is every bit the same, albeit with a slightly more tolerant attitude in terms of some turf cover lost through, I guess, wetter, colder periods of the year. So that was the rationale on which this was based.
Now you're an independent consultant, so you're not tied in with any one particular manufacturer or any number of manufacturers. The whole landscape is there for you to choose from. What were you looking for from the surfaces that you felt should go into here?
Yeah, this year we'll have installed Sysgrass, Hero, Desso, and worked with a couple of other systems and tested a few others as well. So we're quite knowledgeable on the range. With this pitch specifically, the budget was key. In terms of Man City, is a very wealthy club, but there are restrictions there. So the dig out option to be able to install a stitched hybrid, as it was felt excessive in the scheme of things. So this offered an opportunity to leave in some of the material that's here already. There was also issues with subsidence on this pitch, which is an evolution from the construction, which was expected. It's a fill site, so you always get some movement, which doesn't sound like a big problem, but you'd be surprised when you're trying to create a level surface. It creates unique challenges, and this was a much more flexible system and a lot more economical because it reduced the amount of infrastructure works required to install it compared to, say, a stitched hybrid, which we didn't want to stitch into a fibre sand root zone because of firmness concerns. So in this instance we wanted to create a clean 80mm root zone performance whilst leaving the material underneath, which this has enabled us to do.
And stability and renovation, I guess, would have been two key factors.
Stability and traction are the big ones in terms of wear tolerance. This is what gets you usable hours. In terms of what we've experienced here and at other venues, we're upwards of 20 to 25 hours use on these systems. Albeit you lose some turf cover, but you can carry on. The renovation one is key here. The club were focused on whatever they put in. Had to have a cost model that was similar to Desso, Sys and other stitch systems, so it has to last. And on that cost model we came out with around about 5 or 6 years, and as long as it lasted at that point, the cost model works. Once we get to that point we'll let you know, but it should last longer. We know at other venues we've been able to clean it right out and then refill it back in. So on that basis there's no reason this shouldn't be here in 5, 7, 8 years plus if that's the case.
So the other venues you've actually worked with this surface, the Hero surface, is where?
We've got Brentford at Jersey Road, so that's now 2 years old, so two and a bit renovations in. And obviously now Gloucester as it is, where it's gone in, and then we've got the Eclipse background as well, where we went in at Griffin Park, which is now 4 years I think now, and also at the rugby venues as well at Doncaster as well, where it's gone in.
Okay, so going forward, what's your role going to be once this is actually installed?
We continue to work. We have a number of services that we do. So we do a lot of nematode testing, nutrient analysis, benchmarking, and the main one is to get the installations, get the renovations through, and then we do a couple of drop-in visits throughout the year. We do a lot of turf cover monitoring, some firmness readings and performance testing as well, in joint with the club, and help them with their in terms of their ability is second to none in terms of planning out and implementing maintenance. So it's just helping to back up decisions that are made throughout the year, and especially at renovation times is a key time of year for us. So I spend pretty much 2-3 days a week here during this period of time.
We're now looking at the contracting end of this. Premier Pitches are the main contractor, and we're joined by David. David, thanks for your time here. It's obviously a mad time of year for you right now with renovations going on all over the place.
Yes, that's correct.
How many teams you got out there currently?
We've currently got 8 teams working on pitches all across the UK and into Europe as well. So yeah, it's a very busy period. It's good stuff.
This for us is a really interesting project because it's the first big install at a top Premier League club of this surface, the Hero hybrid surface. First time you've been involved in this?
We have been involved in a number of hybrid installations and carpet installations, but this is the first full-on Hero install that we've done, yes.
So we've been through, Roy, the decision-making process and the consultancy process. You get the call.
Yep.
I think it was a bit later than anticipated, and you got a little bit of short notice.
Yep.
What happened next?
So it was just a matter of we'd been in communication with Roy about what was required, and as one of our big customers, we're more than happy to try and help them and make sure that this project went ahead in a time frame that was suitable for the club. And so we, as how we say, dedicated certain teams ready to react if the call came in. So it came in, we mobilised the teams, we got prepared in conjunction with the county, and we started the works on the pitch. I think it was 2 weeks after receiving the call.
And the first thing you had to do was what?
So the first stage of the project was assessing the levels. This pitch was had suffered with subsidence, so we then came along, had a look, see what the best way of approaching it was, because there's certain areas which were quite difficult. It's not a full reconstruction, so we had to work with a lot of the materials that were here. So we then came in with the Coro, took the top off, and then worked with the materials to build up the levels and try and iron out the surface to create as flat a surface and as good a surface as possible.
And from start to finish of that part of the project, how long was that?
We had a week to undertake this work. That was from literally stripping the pitch off to then bringing the levels pretty much to where you see them now.
And would you say that was the normal amount of time you would like, or was it a little bit tight?
It depends on the type of project, but with it being fairly complex with regards to levels, it was fairly tight but achievable. We're used to working long hours at this time of year. This is where we make our bread and butter. This is the big part of the year where we're making the most money and the most work.
Sure.
So our staff are used to working the hours that are required to finish the projects to the best standard.
So now your guys are kind of off-site now, and you've handed over to County Turf who are putting the carpet in now. So they're stitching this all in. How long are they going to be putting that in?
As you can see, it's nearly complete. I think for them it's probably going to be another few days, and then they'll be doing the sand infill. That'll be brushed into the surface, and then we'll come back and we'll seed the surface, and then it'll be handed over to the club.
And Roy gets to play with his new toy on his own then after that.
That's it, yes.
Or his team gets to play with their new toy.
Yeah.
And the entire process of starting laying the carpet to finishing laying the carpet, how long did that take, or is it going to take?
It should take approximately a week, so it may be a few days less than that. They're doing a great job at the moment, and I think they're progressing pretty well, so it may take less time than anticipated.
So Roy, we've had a really good look with the team that you've got involved in this, not just your team, but external suppliers and consultants. A big process, a big investment. Man City are one of the richest, if not the richest clubs in the world, but you don't just get everything at a drop of a hat, do you? You've got to prove your case, fight your corner.
Yeah, I think what it is, with the club is because if we think we're just like it's Man City, we get everything thrown at us money-wise. It doesn't really work like that. I've got to give something to the club is better than what we've already got, and the club are definitely looking for that. And I've fought tooth and nail with the football club trying to get this over the line, and I've had a lot of no's on this, but the bottom line is it's something I believe in is a right for this football club long term, and like I said, after all the experience I've had talking to other people, I do feel it's the way forward for us.
And Roy, this Hero installation is by no means the only big piece of work that's going on now. There's other stuff happening as well, isn't there?
Well, there is, yeah. I mean, we're on the academy side now, and to our left-hand side, on the first team tablet, we're putting another hybrid Deso Grassmaster in there for the first team. We're taking one of the old pitches out, so we're having like for like, because the first team had the 4 pitches over there, and what they do, the manager seems to want to play on pitch 1, The old system wasn't a Desso Grassmaster, which we changed to Desso Grassmaster, and the reason for that now is so we got consistent with both pitches, so then it ties in with the Etihad Stadium. So when the manager's training, he will be training on 3 hybrid Desso Grassmaster pitches.
And you mentioned the first team and the team, but your team is equally important in making this all happen, isn't it, surely?
Yeah, my team is crucial. You know, I've got Lee Jackson at the stadium. You know, he come down to Brentford when I looked at their training ground at the Euro carpet system. I've had Lee Metcalf, I've had Richard come with me with travels, and Dan Lewis coming as well. We've all been down and we've all took notes, and we've all said no, and we've all said yes, and we've all said no. But we looked at the bigger picture and we all sat down together and said which is the way forward. And I think with all the research I brought forward to the club and spent many hours down London looking at technology in these carpets, because that's where I've been and spent a lot of time this year, I brought it to the table, talked it through with my guys, and all my head line managers are all for it. They think it's really good what I've put to them, and I've convinced them, and then they've convinced the club as well. Because the club sometimes don't just ask me, they ask them as well.
So that team that you've got that's working with you on this and other projects, is that part of the legacy that you're going to leave behind you when you eventually go, Roy?
Yeah,
6 years, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I would say, you know, about 6 years' time, that's if the club let me go. In 6 years' time, I want to leave a legacy in place where I don't want Man City to be left behind. You know, the training ground's 4-year-old now, you know, and in the last 4 years, technology's moved on, you know, and I think what I want to try and do is put something in place for the generations to come. You know, I want this to be Man City, the top club, because that's what we are. You know, and as far as I work for the club, this club will never get left behind, because I'm always at the forefront for this football club. And I want to leave something in place for the football to look and think, yes, this is something special. And when I do retire and finish, somebody else can take over from me.
Roy, I think that's the right place to leave it. Thanks again for all your time today.
Thank you, Martin. Very much appreciated.